right, so April 2nd today. We're back to working on the boat. Sorry if I sound a little stuffy here. We're getting into allergy season, so that's just what it's going to be. Anyway, I was flipping around here. I apologize for the shop being a mess. I got a lot of things going on, and I'm going to clean up where I'm working, but the other stuff you guys are just going to have to deal with. So anyway, we're doing some science here this evening. So I've got the boat pulled in here, and I do have to pull this motor off at a certain point to put the jack plate on it. But I don't really have a place to put it until I do that. So I'm doing some science experiment here. Now, whenever I built my big blue boat, I flipped that entire boat, but I pulled off of 2 different trusses. So on this particular boat, I'm actually not gonna flip it to do the reverse chines. Whenever I did my blue boat, I had to weld out the entire keel as well as the reverse chines. It was like 70 or 80 feet of welding. This time, with these reverse chines I'm gonna stick in here, it's only gonna be like 12 or 14 feet of welding. And it's a pain to flip a boat. Trust me, I've done that. So I'm gonna try to get it to where I can just get underneath there and weld it and call it good. So we're in here doing some science. Actually, it was really braced off right where the tie down was. So we attempted that first go. If that was gonna fail or pull through, I was gonna look at other options, but it's holding. So we've got the motor hooked up to it. Like I said, the boat's empty. It's as light as it's gonna be, but it is hanging from that truss up there. And it's pretty dang solid. There's not a lot of deflection in that truss, so I think we're good to go. A lot of the problem with the V-bottom boats is getting back into good water for your motor here. So this boat actually has a offset transom. You can see most boats, they just come straight out. Well, you get a lot of turbulence coming off of that. So this boat already has, I don't even know what that is, probably what, 10 inches. That 9-10 inches worth of setback already on it to get into clean water. And I just bought an 8-inch jack plate. So we're gonna set this thing back like 18 inches off the hull. So hopefully by doing all that, we're gonna have this prop sitting in some super clean water. And it's gonna act kind of like a mud motor. If you guys have ever seen a mud motor, you know the prop is set way back to where you can get into some good clean water and that boat will flatten out and plane out. A mud boat runs the best if it's completely flat rather than digging at a plane. And by doing these reverse chines on this boat and the way this boat leveled out the other day whenever I did the ballast in it, this thing's gonna flatten out great and it's gonna run in some super shallow water, especially with this jack plate. We're gonna do some redirecting of the water and a couple other things to get her to run shallow. And like I said, then we're still going to have that big V hull to cut the waves. So it is going to be a hybrid hull that's going to be pretty slick. So, all right, just another quick update. Got the boat back leveled up. And I know I was curious, and I'm sure maybe you guys were too. But anyway, I just got it completely leveled up on the transom there, and kind of took some numbers there from the side, and right now, with the 1,000 pounds that I put in it centered, this boat is drawing 7 1/4 inches of water. So for a 21-foot V-bottom boat, which is going to be very close to what it's going to be loaded down at, we're drawing 7 1/4 inches of water. So that is right there where I wanted to be. And I think it may actually get a little better once I add those reverse chines. That's going to... It's not going to give it a flotation, but what it's going to do is it's going to add a little bit more displacement to the back end. So it may actually come up out of the water a little bit more. If not, that's what I said, between 6 to 8 inches is kind of what I was shooting for as far as a draw on this boat. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Like I said, you look at a 1754 or 1760 or 1860 or something like that. Those boats are drawing that much, if not more water. And this is a 21-foot boat that's 102 inches wide, and I'm drawing 7 1/4 inches of water. So, and it's got a 150 on the back of it. So, it being a 2-stroke helps, because this 150 weighs 400 pounds. My 200 4-stroke on the back of my big boat weighs 600 pounds. So, big difference whenever you jump 50 horses and go from a 2-stroke to a 4-stroke. But all right, so we just got the all the reverse chine material cut. I did as much pre-cutting as I could. That way, whenever I jack the boat up, I don't have to do a lot of work. But I wanted to kind of explain these reverse chines because last time, whenever I did this build, I had a lot of people question the reverse chines. So I'll try to do my best here. Okay, so here on the board, you can see, let's move that out of the way. So if you can see, this is kind of the profile of this V-bottom boat, right? So we got the boat, and then it V's down and comes up. So that's why these style of boats do so well at cutting through waves, because unlike a flat bottom boat, you got a V that's actually knifing down in the water the full length of the boat and then, you know, breaking the water. That's why a semi-V boat really is a dumb thing if you ask me, because the semi-V at the very front is only going to break a giant wave. The rest of the time it's just going to act like a flat bottom boat and it's just going to beat you to death. Okay, now these reverse chines, what I'm doing with these reverse chines, so on my last boat I did these, I was very happy with how they turned out, the performance of them. Actually wish I would have went a little bit bigger and a little bit longer. I ended up going 6 inches wide and 10 foot long on that 25-foot boat. I actually wish I would have went like half of the boat or even 14 foot and maybe 10 inches wide. So that's why I'm kind of playing around with this. So this boat here is 21 foot. So it's got almost the same degree V hull, and it's almost the same width. Now, I want this boat to go shallow. So reverse chines do a couple of different things. It stabilizes your boat, and it also kind of makes it plane out a little bit faster. I know I'm not a naval architect, but hear me out. So what I'm doing with these reverse chines, so like I said, you can see I keep talking, I went a foot wide. So what I'm actually doing, and this is where the reverse chine is coming in. So this is the chine of the boat right here. I am reversing that chine with this material. So you can see here, this V normally comes like that, and that's kind of where V-bottom boats get a bad name, is they say that they are tippy at stable, right? They're super smooth going through the water because they're cutting the water like a knife. But whenever you're still, you know, they have a tendency to rock a little bit because it's like an arrow sticking in the water. There's no flat surface, right? So that's why on this boat, I'm trying to make it kind of a hybrid hull, since we are going to bowfish out of it. You know, a lot of it's going to be static or slow speed. So with these reverse chines, like I said, I got a foot. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm taking that 1 foot area and I'm coming in and I'm actually going a little outside of level. I'm not actually going level. I'm going down even a little bit. And then I'm extending the side of the boat down. So we're making all that go away right there. Okay, so the boat is actually looking like that now as opposed to that. So what that does is, number one, that gives you a little bit more stability at rest, because now you have that flat surface that boat's not able to rock so bad, okay? Another thing what it does is, because I'm actually pitching those down slightly, what that does is whenever it contacts wave, it's actually forcing that water down rather than straight up and out. So you end up with a drier ride, right? Okay, another thing that I don't think people talk about is it's a lot faster on plane. Okay, you can think of a bird, basically, you know, a bird's body like that, and he's got wings that stick out, and you got a bird. You know, I'm not good at drawing, but anyway, that's a, you know, you can think of a bird basically as kind of the way that they fly and they plane, and they're just super stable. So like I said, we're going to come over here 1 foot and extend up 3 inches basically, and remove or extend the boat to where we end up with a chine now looks like that, as opposed to the straight V. So now we've got best of both worlds, right? We've got a V that's still going to cut waves. We've got the stability factor that we've got that flat surface. You can imagine it's flat, so it's going to be even more stable to try to roll. And because I went a foot wide, you can see. So this boat's 84, 86 inches wide at the bottom. So I've now taken 24 inches of that, and I made it completely flat. So that boat, instead of digging like an arrow, like a V, whenever I go to get on plane, that water is going to contact that surface area right there. It's going to flatten that boat out, so I'll be able to plane out in a shallower scenario, and it's not going to let me dig for as long. It's just going to go and straight on. It's It's gonna be super quick to plane. That's the idea, okay? That's what I got going on right now. Like I said, not a naval architect, but it sounds sound, and I've done it before on my big boat, and I know it works, right? Reverse chines are definitely a thing. They're used in the industry all the time. I've just never seen anybody do 1 foot wide reverse chines. That's kind of where I'm doing things that's not that's kind of out of the norm, so to speak. Is I'm going 1 foot wide. The reason I'm going 1 foot wide is because I want that stability and shallow planing ability over the wave cutting ability. This is a 21 foot V-bottom boat. I'm not going to be taking it on Lake Erie and 4 or 5 footers, right? I've got a 25 foot boat if I want to do that. This thing here is still going to cut right through 2 and 3 footers, which is fine for these inland lakes, okay? It'll be no problem. So anyway, like I said, that's why I'm going to all the trouble of this. That is the reverse chine. Hope that makes sense to some of you. So let me turn the camera around, and then I'll show you how I've cut my pieces before it gets too dark. I'm gonna back the boat in here, snap some lines, do some grinding. I want to get these things welded on today. Okay, so here's my pieces. Like I said, this is my 1 foot. This started out as 80 inches. 80 inches hit my sweet spot, as well as by me doing this, I'm going to still be able to clear my fenders, and I'm not going to have to extend my bunks up. Okay, so I've got this piece here. This is where the water's going to contact, right? Now, I've got to plane this out somehow, because like I said, I am actually extending the bottom of the boat 3 inches, that far. That's 3 inches. That's where it planes out. Okay, now how I found that is, I'll come over here to the boat. So what I did was, you can see right there. So I actually took a level and I leveled off of the boat. Level is 2.5 inches on the back. It's actually 3 up there. It's actually 3 up there at the front, but it's 2.5 inches at the back here. So I added a 1/2 inch to that, so where that reverse chine is actually going to start out there level, and then it's going to roll down slightly. It's just going to all happen as I weld it in. But that's what, like I talked, that's going to force that water down, is what it's going to do. So that's how I figured out my height there. Like I said, you could go level, but you're kind of defeating the purpose. You want to go just a slight bit over, so that's what we did. So rip this 3 inches wide. Now, up at the top of the boat, we got to figure out how to plane this out, right? Because I'm extending the bottom of the boat 3 inches for only, you know, basically 6.5 feet of the boat. So how I do this is, I did this on my other boat and it worked out real great. It planed out, because you have to understand your water is going to it's going to attack the water. This piece is going to attack this water right here at a lot of speed, right? So you want this to plane out nicely. So what I did was I went 45 basically. So this is a 1 foot wide piece. I came back a foot, drew that 45 line in on both the width of it and this 3 inch piece. So now what'll happen is, as I set that up there on the boat, you'll have to kind of picture this. I'll try to video it as I do it, but you can see here, that's how that's going to sit to the bottom of the hull. And then what's going to happen is that bottom piece there, I'll lift up and weld into place, and that'll make a gentle slope. And that's how that front will all attack. The drop off of this 3 inch piece is here. This will fit at the very back end of this piece and close up that open cell. So, because it's exactly 3 inches to nothing, you're following the exact same plane, right? So that's how I'm utilizing my material. That's how I'm making these reverse chines and able to get it to attack the water without being, you know, a blunt 3 inch flat surface. You got to make it plane out to where it attacks the water gentle. So anyway, that's that. A lot of talking. Gonna get the boat in here. We're gonna get to welding. All right, so there it is. You can see I got it welded out, ground out. That's how it turned out on the boat there. Looks really clean, that transition there. Maybe you guys can see now what I'm saying, how it actually reverses the chine of that hull. So Anyway, I didn't die. That's always a plus, yeah. So anyway, got the one side done. Got all the materials cut for tomorrow. We'll get the other side in. You know, this is a lot of work. And I knew this going in. I knew it was going to be a lot of work. But there's a reason that I'm going to do it. I truly believe in these reverse chines, and I believe in the performance advantages that it gives you. Because I mean, I spent all evening on this one side basically. You know, let me tell you, if you don't like overhead welding, don't try that. But hey, it worked, and I didn't have to flip the boat. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of dollars and there's a lot of time invested in that. But I firmly believe in it. I believe it's going to turn this boat completely around. I believe, you know, having that V-hull with that big reverse chine on it, I really believe in it. So that's why I spent all the time to do it. Like I said, this is a lot of the work right here, honestly. You know, once we get in there, we just deck the thing out, basically. So there'll be obviously a little bit more. But, yeah, there's a lot of work into these. So, anyway, there it is. I'll lower the boat back down because obviously it's hard to see the level and everything else now. But anyway, didn't die. It held. I took all my safety blocks out of it. I'm going to drop it down now. But yeah, I got it all welded up, ground out. So cool. There it is, the step. That boat is not going to plane out right there. I believe the boat is going to plane out somewhere in here. And you can see it is, whenever I get the boat down to level, I'll show you. But that chine on the back end there is actually tipped down a little bit. It's level up there, and then it tips down ½ inch here. So real quick here, like I said, on my last boat build, everybody was asking about prices and such. And the reason I didn't talk prices is because I spent an enormous amount of time searching around, finding different things. A lot of people aren't going to do that. Trying to find deals, save pennies here and there. But I'll be honest with you. On this particular build, though, I'll tell you right now. So, like these sheets here, the reason that I went with all 4x8 sheets on this build is because it was just cheaper than buying big sheets. So I got $215 a piece in each one of these sheets. So just to do this reverse chine, you can see I've used up a little better than, let's just call it 3/4 a sheet there, plus welding wire, plus gas. You know, you're going to have, call it $200 just in these reverse chines. You know, maybe a little less, but I mean, that's just rough numbers figuring. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing on this build. Like I said, I wanted to build a whole boat. Aluminum just stupid right now. But anyway, just to give you guys kind of an idea of pricing on stuff. Yeah, you're looking at over $200 a sheet even right now just for this stuff. So like I said, this is 1/8 inch or 125 5052 aluminum. So 5052 is a marine grade. It's easy to weld. So that's why I went with it. Like I said, on my big boat, I did the 5086, which is really hard for the bottom. Takes a hell of a hit. The vast majority of all your boats, this whole boat that I'm welding up is made out of 5052. That's kind of your industry standard alloy for marine grade aluminum, at least in freshwater settings and stuff. So anyway, that's some numbers. Everybody complained last time I didn't give no numbers, so there's just kind of a rough idea. I'm gonna have, like I said, I bought 7 sheets. So you guys do the math with tax, everything else. That's what I gotta have in this boat. Just in aluminum sheeting. That doesn't include all my abrasives. That doesn't include all my welding wire, all my welding gas. Because I mean, with aluminum, you got to run straight argon. So there's added prices and everything. So it all adds up really quick. And like I said, you don't want to screw up. So I've taken a lot of time. To try to figure out just how much to use, so I'm not, spending too much or over figuring. But anyway, that's some numbers for you guys.